welcome to the Fandom Omnibus podcast. My name is Chancellor D. Today I'm joined with Pro and Cons Cosplay. How are you all doing today?
Great, how are you?
Doing great.
Awesome. So for those that don't know you all or haven't seen you all or have seen you all but haven't asked, where did the name come from for Pros and Cons Cosplay?
As most of our great ideas start, it's like 2 a.m. and we're like, what would be really funny? And so I think actually it was Con's ultimate idea, but we wanted to have a name that, bounced off the fact that we're twins, but have different personalities. And so after kind of looking at, duo names like that and just kind of thinking through words and phrases, Pros and Cons kind of naturally came out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So how did you all decide who would be pro and who would be con?
It was like personality based at the time. We've leveled out a little bit since then, but so Pro, she's kind of like the more like happy, like, positive person, and I'm a little bit of a negative Nancy. So we were like, all right, this works out perfectly. So like pros and cons. But yeah, I think we've leveled out a little bit more since like when we first came out with the name, but that's how it started.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So when did you all start cosplaying?
Gosh,
it had to have been 2007, maybe 2008.
I think it was earlier than that. I think it was 2005 or 6. We were like, so? Yeah, we were still in high school.
Yeah, that's right. And our friends were like, hey, we're going to go to this anime convention or a Japanese culture convention at the time. It was close to our hometown called NagaCon. And we thought, you have to wear a costume in order to go and have a good time. And so because we didn't want to look like losers, we decided we needed to dress up. Now, granted, that was completely false. Like we were very wrong. You don't have to dress up to have a great time at a convention. But we thought that at the time. We put together these super busted cosplays. Had a great time. It went over really well despite how homemade and busted they were. And we're like, oh, like this is a thing we can do forever and go to cons and have this experience. And so then it just kind of kicked things off ever since. And then, we learned about competing and going to different shows and learning about what other contests were like, what other cosplay circles were like. And it's been a lovely time ever since.
It has been. Like they were like super busted. Like we were Kawakami, both of us at the time. So we're talking like we got these polyester yukata from like Epcot Center. We went on vacation to Disney World. And we had like some yaki braiding hair that was like sort of haphazardly pinned in. We made the obi out of a pillowcase, like tube socks and flip-flops. It was a time, but it went over well. And so we were like, oh, okay, let's keep doing this.
Yeah.
Nice. So were people being like, hey, can we get your picture? Do pictures with you or of you and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. On the good old wind-up camera. It was a good time.
So luckily those are before the time of like a lot of social media. So there's probably floating around somewhere. But yeah. We got like one picture, like a couple pictures taken. And I was like, this is a thing? You want my picture? Me?
Right.
So yeah, it was pretty fun. Had a good time.
Because I was going to ask like if it was like both of you all wanted to cosplay or one or the other, but both of you all did it at the same time.
We both did it at the same time. And then, and that's kind of been our thing. I think both of us were like really drawn to it early on. So yeah.
Okay, nice. So when did you all start doing like panels and like judging, things of that nature?
Oh gosh. So first we went that first year, and I think did we go a second year before we like competed? I don't remember. Anyway, pretty early on we started competing, and we competed separately. And then we started competing together because we're like, that's silly. We should compete together. And then, as we kind of went to more and more shows and more conventions, we were like, oh, there's other stuff we can do too. So then we started doing panels on, I don't remember what our first panel was. Maybe it was like a Japanese like pop or a Japanese like facts, Japanese history, Japanese culture, like quiz show. I think that was the first one. I don't remember.
I thought that was after we were guests though.
No, that was it. It was before we were guests. I remember that one because that was where we met. It was at another con. We don't talk about that con, but that was the first year.
Oh yeah.
And so we did our first panel there, and it was fun too. Like we do some of that stuff in our like personal lives and our professional lives too. So it was like a natural transition. But yeah, like at the first time we were just like, okay, cool, love cosplaying, love like hanging out and doing stuff, really like competing, but there's other things that we can do to give back and provide programming to the cons that we're a part of too. So that was like a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So what have been some of like your favorite cosplays and do? I know you all did Frieza and Vegeta before, but what some like other you all enjoy doing?
Oh man, so many good ones. Freeze and VJ definitely was like one of my favorite times. I did not enjoy making that costume at all. And if I, which I will one day, remake it to be way better than how it turned out. But after we made it, it was fun. Kind of walking around. I love Frieza. It's one of my favorite villains of all time. Super great. Another one that I really enjoyed being was Wily Cat from the Thundercats. It's like my favorite costume to wear. It was super comfortable. It was probably the only one that I was like, I did this correctly, like because I had done it. That was one of my first ones that I was like, let me pay attention to these seams, right? And so that was a lot of fun to get to work to wear and work into. Just kind of because of the nostalgia piece. I love doing things that are reminiscent of my childhood. And Thundercats was a big, like, just amazing show. And getting to watch kids and their parents get super excited about a costume that you're wearing was like just super choice. I love ball gowns now. So ball gowns were really fun. We made our first one 2016, maybe is what
It had to be later than that.
2017, I think, maybe 28, I don't know, sometime years prior to now. And that was a lot of fun. There's nothing better than twirling around in ball gowns, and I recommend it to literally anyone. If you are excited about, if clothes get you excited, nothing's more exciting than twirling. So any single person, if you ever are interested in twirling, make a ball gown. It's fun.
Yes. There's like this movement of a huge like swaths of fabric just swirling around you. Feels pretty magical. That's a hard question. Like, I feel like I answer this differently every time I'm asked it because I have different experiences with different costumes. So I think my favorite experience in a costume was definitely the Dora Milaje. That costume was also kind of hard to deal with to make, but we were not expecting the love that we got for those. I don't know why, because, you know, Black Panther was like a huge thing at the time. We had just, the movie had just
came out like a month prior or something, maybe less than that.
Yeah, we were like, and I was like, well, let's go to C2E2 and like we'll just kind of hang out with some friends that were also doing a group, and like this kind of, it was our first time at C2E2, but it was also the same weekend as like a Black Women's Expo or something, and we had no expectation for the amount of love that we got in those costumes, and it was really awesome. My heart was just full the entire time. There was one point in time we got stuck in a picture trap, which if you don't know what that is, it's like when you get stuck with people taking pictures and you can't go anywhere. We missed a photo shoot because we were literally down the hall and couldn't make our way down there. No, it's hard to say no. One time we were so tired at the end of the day that
it was like 2 hours we were in
we were stuck in that picture trap for like, it was over an hour. Some DJs had to come rescue us. They were like, all right, they gotta go. Like they can see we were physically about to like not doing too great because we hadn't eaten. So they were like, all right, let them go. So that was really kind. So that was really, my heart was so full like during that. It was a great group cosplay. And again, the representation was just so important. And it's awesome being like a cool kick-ass like warrior that just gets to carry around a spear and ball caps. So that was pretty fun. Didn't necessarily enjoy making every element of that, but it was the ball caps, wearing those was a time. But like the experience itself was really, really great.
That was good.
Then I have things that I like enjoy making. So there's parts of costumes that I really, really liked. Like, oh boy, I guess I really liked I didn't like making it, but I did like wearing it. The wig I made for my fairy godmother Sakizo costume, like it was huge and fluffy and like, you know, it gave me so much, like it fought me every step of the way, but the end result I thought looked pretty good. So I was really proud of that one. So I think back on those costumes, like, you know, just sometimes when you're just building along or like different parts and different things, different experiences, I think those are what I guess I think about now as opposed to like a favorite costume. There's like elements of the costume experience that I think I draw favoritism to.
That's a good way of putting it.
That's good, because I was wondering about the Dora Milaje one, like, because when I saw you with the ball cap, I thought, oh, that's really nice. But then it's like yeah, it's good to see the representation too.
Yes,
those bald caps never again.
Yes. It's like it creates like an impermeable layer of just latex and stuck to your skin, so all the heat, you know, a lot of heat comes out of your head. And so all that just gets in there, and when you take it off, it's just real nasty. So, so it was quite a time. Now we don't wear the ball cast with that anymore. I just wear a scarf or something because it's just too much of a pain in the butt to get all that on.
I understand, because it's something like when you see pictures, you're like, that's cool, but you don't know like in the moment what the person's going through, standing in the outfit and things. Of like, especially you mentioned the photo trap. Like I never thought about that, but I've seen it before, like in passing at cons, but never been caught in one. So I can only imagine how you're doing it. And it's like a couple hours, and you're like, okay, but you want to, like you said, you want to say yes, take a picture, but also that goes into the rule of cosplay when cosplayers are eating, let them eat.
Yes. Got a
Yes.
sandwich in my mouth. Like, you don't want to take a picture of all this mustard. Like, it's not cute.
I remember there was one time I was Vegeta. I literally had cheese fries in my hand, in my mouth, and he was like, "Can I take a picture of you?" I was just like, I guess. So, yeah, maybe don't ask cosplayers when they're eating or trying to. Usually it's like when you're trying to go to the bathroom. That's like the worst part. I remember that one time we were on our way to the bathroom, and so it was like, "Can I take a picture?" And I was like, "Yes." And then it turned into a picture trap, and I was like, "Uh-oh." Gotta pace myself.
Stop going to the bathroom at cons.
I know, you're right. I gotta stop doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine, like, from the fan perspective, it's like, oh, that person's wearing what I like to see, like favorite character. Let me get a photo. But then you just remember that person's a person underneath the makeup and layers and things, like it's a person.
Right. I got organs that need attention. Like, leave.
Yeah. And like, you won't know, like we tell them like, "Hey, I gotta go to the bathroom." Usually most people are cool about it. I think one person got mad at us, but like for the most part, people are cool. So just be cool. It's all right. Tell people you gotta go eat, go to the bathroom. We're better about that now that we're older, but early on it was just like, okay.
There's that thing about going to conventions where the only thing people eat is chicken tenders.
Oh God, chicken tenders or ramen and Monster. And I'm like, you have to eat a vegetable. Get some water.
Put a nutrient in your body of some kind. It's hard though. I think it depends. Like the advice that we give people and sometimes what we actually do are not always congruent. But I feel like for competition mode, right, when we're competing, we have a plan. But I think you have to know your body. Like you cannot just go and do what everybody else can do. Not everybody can do the same thing. So generally, I try to limit the amount of stuff I put in my body when it's contest day, because usually it's like a lot of shuffling. I'm already stressed, and trying to figure out how to maneuver all that in the bathroom is just a nightmare. So I try and limit it, but within reason. Like if I feel like I'm weak or feel like I can't manage it, then I put, a nutrient in. But, not everybody should or can do that. And that is totally fine. You just have to sort of plan ahead and, think about what your body can actually manage when you're planning your costumes and all that kind of stuff. You don't feel the need to prevent yourself from going to the bathroom just because you don't want to deal with stuff. But that's kind of sometimes what we do. It's just to eliminate the stress. Like, I'm fine. I'm usually not hungry anyway. I'm stressed. So.
Because too, we're not teenagers anymore. We're adults.
Exactly.
So
right.
You can't do what a teenager does, like go all day. No, because we're not invincible.
Right. And you see them passed out like little cats under the sun at the convention when they've just had Monster and ramen all weekend, and you're like, put a vegetable in your body.
Get a water.
Yes.
Get a water.
So we also want to ask, I know you'll do panels. So what kind of panels do you all do at conventions?
Yeah. I think as Con mentioned earlier, right, we have this nice nexus between what we do at our convention life and our real-time day jobs of kind of working in sort of civil rights types of stuff or social justice spaces. And so one thing, obviously we do cosplay panels, right? We do a lot of panels on kind of just hey, how to get into cosplay. Well, here's what cosplay is about. Here's a good primer into cosplay. We do some level up craftsmanship types of panels, right? So if you're wanting to kind of up your game in terms of skills and techniques, we do a couple of panels on that. We also do quite a few panels on, just here's how to not be a jerk, as to people of color or to people who have other marginalized identities in cosplay. Bystander intervention training as well of, hey, you're at a convention and you see something and you want to intervene in a way that is both appropriate for the situation and also not going to cause further harm to people or other people. And so kind of teaching folks how to do that. Gosh, we did a couple of game shows. I think Com's really good at that, kind of hosting game show types of stuff on Japanese culture because of her background and working there and, studying Japan. What am I missing?
I think that's, you covered it. Yeah, okay. We try and do a variety of things too. Sometimes the convention will have a specific need that they'll want us to do paneling on. So, right, the bystander intervention camp was really good. Cosplay is not consent. At the time, I think that was developed, had become a movement. It's always been a thing, right? But it was a really strong movement there a little bit later on. So it was good that she developed that. And that went really well. And we've done that for a couple of conventions. And actually, she's done some trainings for some cons too. So yeah, we like to just mix it up. I think doing the same panel over and over again kind of gets boring. But, we've had a good time doing a variety of different things.
because I think after a while, it's like how to get into cosplay, how to build this craft. It's good for people to see it, but you do want to change it up. And I'm happy to see that you are doing the ones like bystander intervention and consent panels. Those are definitely important because people tend to sometimes forget that it's a person that's there. It's not like you set a piece of cardboard to take a picture. It's an actual flesh and blood living person.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
I also want to ask you all about your own convention, POC Creator Con too.
Yes.
I know I went up to the first one, and I really enjoyed it, and we did it all virtual because of the panorama and everything. But how's the experience been hosting your own convention?
Yes, the panini. So yeah, that was kind of how it all started. Really, was during the pandemic. We were again sitting in the car, I think, and being like, you know what we need, like more of a conference kind of thing, so that creators can get together. Because I think we all have this like awful like feeling of ennui and just sadness and malaise that nothing is going the right way. On top of all the other stuff that's happening, being Black people in the United States. So we wanted to create something where we could all get together as creators and do some outreach, connectivity, and kind of like see how we can optimize the creator space despite being in pandemic. So we have done event planning before, but I think the difference between doing an online like conference is that you have to mitigate, it's online. So you got to deal with the internet connectivity. You have to figure out how you're going to reach out to people, because unlike in person, it's a little bit easier to like find other people to do things. So, it was kind of born out of that. It was a good time. We've definitely had some growing pains and learned a lot along the way. And each year, I think we're going to get better and better at it. More and more content that's kind of driving in what we want to do. So yeah, it's definitely like a thought process. And it's like I said, there's some growing pains, but I do think we're getting better and better with each iteration. We've got some cool plans for this year.
Yes. And I will say, I mean, our presenters are phenomenal. We've always had really just intensely talented, smart, like engaged people to be willing to share their knowledge to the community. And I think that's been really like the hallmark of our thing. It's just people who are incredible at what they do. And then they're also willing to share that knowledge with others and do it in a virtual space just because they're freaking awesome people. And so I think that's one of the biggest things about this that I love about it, is just getting to work with people who are freaking incredible human beings and kind of working with others too. This last time, I was really excited to get to bring in just some folks who are experts in mental health and kind of working with just kind of dealing with all the stress and kind of just watching people kind of get that light bulb moment of like, oh, I can take a break. Like, it's okay for me to feel anger about the situation I'm in, but also to take that time to express it and then kind of move from there. People who are working in industries and who are incredible gurus at social media, who are great at working with sponsors. Just there's so many people who are doing amazing things. And it's just honestly our privilege to get to work with them, that they would be willing to come to our conference and give those presentations. So I'm excited about it. We're excited to do another iteration for 2022. More to come.
Nice. Yeah, I can say for the ones I went to and everything, because adulting won't let you actually go to everything you want to.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
But I really have enjoyed it, like from the other side, like watching it and attending. I appreciate what you two have done.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think we've even learned a lot too. Just some of the things that people speak on. Like LaJazzy Red did a panel on like social media algorithms and how to understand that, so you can optimize again your posting schedule. I think that's really important as cosplayers and as people that are in the creative space. Papa Bear and Geeks A Go-Go did a really great panel on understanding sponsorships and how to get them, which is really, really important too. You got to learn how to network and not, burn bridges. You got to build bridges. So that was a really, really great panel too. So
yes, we also had Pastel Dots and
Tina Michelle.
Nope, Stuffy Spa. They both came and did a really great panel on just how to start a small business, which I think a lot of people have gotten really into, especially during the pandemic, realizing how horrible corporate employers have been. And so just kind of getting into that, which I think is just so cool. So should probably do some more of that stuff. So if you have ideas, Chancellor D, let us know about like types of things that you think would be really good for POC trying to navigate digital space, and we'll see if we can get some presenters on it.
that. I would definitely do that offline so people won't take the ideas. Sure. But as we get close, like winding things down, I did want to ask you real quick about the, right now it's February, it's Black History Month. And right now we also have going on 28 Days of Black Cosplay. So it started in 2015 with Princessology, and ever since there, I think the hashtag came out February 1st that year, and now we're 2022. It's kind of like blown up globally, and people are sharing pictures online and videos and things. So what has your experience been like navigating 28 Days of Black Cosplay, like hashtags and all that?
That's a good question. I think it's been great. Like 2015 was like when we were sort of kind of like experimenting with social media and like learning a little bit more about it. So it was a really great opportunity to see more people that look like you doing awesome things. Like I was so proud and so happy to see just the variety of cosplays that, our people are doing, right? So that was really, really awesome. And I think, Tamara and I, we started cosplaying in our area. We're like in the middle of nowhere, right? So there weren't a total like that many Black people that were in our spaces. So we kind of grew up not having that much exposure to other people like us doing these kinds of things. So it was just a great like experience to be like, oh man, this is what it could have been. Like we were growing up, having all these like awesome people that look like you, to be inspirations and all that kind of thing. So it was just really awesome just watching like that blow up. And the media attention finally recognizing that, Black people are still doing the same things as like our white counterparts are. Just like big scale media just sometimes doesn't pick up on that. Lately they have been because it's the trendy thing to do, I guess. But, it aside from like the negative stuff that kind of the blowback from other media sources because of it, I personally look at 28 Days as just a celebration, right? I look at it as a way for us to see, and showcase to the rest of the world that we already know that we're great, but you can also see it too. So check out our hashtags.
And what about you, Pro?
What's that? Sorry.
Or what about you, Pro?
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. I think it's just such an awesome way to showcase the talent that already exists in our communities. I think, as with anything, after it's been going on for a couple of years, as Con kind of touched on, it's become this interesting, thing that corporate people have just kind of like attached onto because it's trendy. But I think ultimately the goal is that we're celebrating the good work that's happening in our communities. And I hope it continues to be that way. I think, I get really excited to see all the pictures that come through just because sometimes when you're like sad and grumpy or don't want to work on something, it just takes like seeing someone in their magical princess dress that they made to like really inspire you to get back on the sewing machine. So I love it. I think it's great. And I get excited for it every year.
Nice. So, a couple more questions left, real quick. Let's start you, both of you, either together or individually. Like, what is like some of your favorite fandoms that you both enjoy?
So many. Well, it's been weird because I feel like with so much going on, we haven't been able to indulge as often as before. But I do have my trash loves. As you know, I do love Mobile Suit Gundam everything. Still one of my favorite series and franchises.
I will never forget the 8-page Relina Peacecraft debate you got into.
No. Like, it was 32 pages.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
Way to take away from my crown. Yes.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. And this many years ago, Pro, I'm going to throw you under the bus because it was just like, what is your deal? Got into like an internet debate over something in Gundam Wing. This was many years ago. And it was just like, I was like, this is a level. Okay, this is a dissertation level argument over some points in Gundam Wing. And I'm proud of you, but also disappointed.
Thanks. I get that. And I understand, back when forums were a thing, that's where we were going back and forth on the relevance of Relina Peacecraft and whether her eyes were portraying fear or like concern. It was a lot. We were there. I remember that. It's a good time. Anyway, I love it. I build model Gundams every once in a while. I haven't done it in several years, and I really would like to get back into building little Gunpla figurines. Gosh, I could go on for that.
I could throw you under the bus for years about your Gunpla and your Gundams. Like I just gotta tell this story because it makes me sad. So we were in Japan, right? Like she came to visit me. Oh no, I forgot. We were in Japan for doing something. So we were hanging out.
Visit you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This was the second time though.
Yes.
Because we were with our other friend. So we were in Japan, and there was a Gundam store in the city that we were in, and it was like really famous because there used to be a Gundam fist that was going through the wall, right? So we go in, and Pro just goes nuts shopping for stuff and just buys all this stuff. And we're like, cool. And like one of the guys in the store gave us like a thumbs up because he was like, oh, that's super cool that you're into Gundams. So we bought these Gundams, but then we went back to the hotel and tried to put them in the suitcase, and they wouldn't fit. They would not fit in the suitcase. So what happens? Pro throws away my conditioner and shampoo and toiletries so that she could fit her Gundam into my suitcase. I was like,
more at home.
Regardless, I was like, I hadn't been home in like 5 months, so I don't know what's at home. At that point, I was just like, look, this is this is nuts. No, it wasn't. It was the second time, so I hadn't been gone that long. But regardless, I was just like, look, you threw away my shampoo and conditioner and like toiletries and stuff so you could fit your freaking models in my suitcase. And I was sad.
Everyone, I wish that I was sorry. But I can't lie. I'm not. Love you.
We have like an altar, we call it the altar, but it's like a little recess into the wall where we put like all of our stuff. It's all filled with her Gundams. Like I don't even have any space up there. It's her Gundams and her like trinkets and stuff. And I'm like, this is supposed to be shared. It's like the trophy like alcove, but no, it's all Gundams and stuff. I'm like, all right, well.
Gundams over your shampoo.
Okay.
I don't know what to say.
So that's the kind of relationship that we have, basically.
Sorry. Oh, I'm not sorry. I'm sorry. But I'm not
no,
sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
Any Final Fantasy models? I'm just asking.
Any what?
Any Final Fantasy characters? I'm just asking.
Yes, we have plenty of those.
Wrong. I have one. I have one Balthier figurine. One I broke, but I do have the one Balthier figurine.
We have a Zora figurine up there too.
That's not Final Fantasy.
That's
Final. It's next door. We have like some pop figurines and like some K-pop stuff and some trophies. Trophies and K-pop stuff is also on the altar. Aside from your freaking Gundams, like the other stuff that we tend to like, we like Final Fantasy a lot. Like as much as I complain about that franchise and how bad the games are sometimes, I love Final Fantasy. So I will continue to play it, and we will continue to obsess over the outfits and the characters. By the way, the best Final Fantasy is 12. You can fight your mom on that one, but it's the truth. Best Final Fantasy game. We're also really into Tales, like the Tales of series. We're playing Tales of Arise right now. So good. It was like a nice, I don't remember, we were in GameStop and like many years ago, and we were looking for a new game, and the person at the store was like, hey, do you want to try this thing? It's on sale. It was like dirt cheap. And I was like, all right. He's like, if you like Final Fantasy, then you'll like this. And I'm like, okay. So we took it home and we're like, oh, wow, this is a ride. There's just no breaks. This game has no breaks. It's nonstop stuff happening. So it was great. It was a good time. Love Tales.
Yes.
Tales is very good.
So last question. Where can people find you all online?
Several places. So we've got our Facebook page and Instagram, just Pros and Cons Cosplay. You can also, we have a website that I am working on. So in the future, it will be available and ready to go, but meetprosandcons.com. You can find us at, and we'll also keep a running list of what conventions we'll be at, and kind of, that'll also be on our social media pages as well. You can also check us out through email too, if you've got questions or issues, pros and cons cosplay@gmail.com.
Not issues, just questions.
Oh yes, not issues,
just
questions. That's
fine. We also have a Ko-fi account. That's Pros and Cons on Ko-fi. So if you are feeling so inclined and generous to help us keep doing the things that we do, we both work full time, so it is hard to sort of balance, that and then doing our cosplay and community stuff sometimes. So every little bit helps, especially so we can keep putting on events and sort of cultivating those communities. We have a lot of more events planned for this year, so definitely keep your eyes out for POC Create a Con. And Stop Drop Cosplay is another event that we run. It's a cosplay, closet cosplay event where it's on Discord. So it's a ton of fun. Sorry, I'm like taking up the space to like talk about it, but I love it. It's a lot of fun. People get together. We drop secret themes, and you have a very limited amount of time to put that costume together based off of stuff you have in your closet. And then our wonderful, wonderful judges go through and judge and pick winners, and we just send you prizes. So it's totally free to join. And every year it's like a riot. It's so funny. People just put together the most amazing stuff in like 20 minutes I've ever seen.
last year we had a room carnage award for how much you tore your room apart putting together your costumes, and it was phenomenal.
It was quite funny. Yeah. Or like there was some people who were like, I don't want to win the award for this, but I will take the prize. So it was pretty funny. So yeah, please join us. We'll have announcements about that pretty soon. Also, coming up next month in March, we're doing a cosplay contest support series, which we're in many different Facebook groups, and my brainchild baby is the cosplay contest support group. So there it's for people that want to learn how to get involved with cosplay contests. And so we're going to run a series of workshops and presentations on how cosplay contests work. The first one we're going to kick off is on how to judge. So if you've ever wanted to be a cosplay contest judge, that's the one to come to. So if you're not already a member of the Cosplay Contest Support Group on Facebook, please join us if you want to know more things about cosplay contests. Lots of really great resources in there. So many phenomenal people that are con runners, judges, seasoned competitors that are there to answer all of your burning cosplay contest questions.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to all of that. I want to say thank you to both of you for taking time out today and joining me on the podcast. And I hope everyone who's been watching definitely follow Pros and Cons Cosplay, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for having us. It was a great time.